Hello, everyone. I am Mary. My friend Doudou has to take a break for a while due to health reasons. I will bring you wonderful content in the future. If there are any shortcomings, please give me more suggestions and I will try my best to correct them. Okay, let's get into our topic today. I really want to know how many times others do it a week. What frequency is considered high-quality sex life? I once had a long-distance relationship. After meeting, it was like a fire. When we were in love, wham! I was very tired during the day, but at night, we lay in bed together. Huh? Who do you think is tired? Not tired. Of course, I have also heard some friends peeking there. Hey, how many times a week do you do it? I haven't done it once in the past 2 weeks. Is it too little? What's wrong? Has your little flame been extinguished? The frequency of sex is simply a kind of metaphysics. Some people worry that they are overindulging themselves, while others feel that they have no desires in their bodies, don't need it. So, how many times a week do other couples do it? How many is considered a lot? How many is considered a little? Now I will reveal it to you. This number is the most common frequency of sex. First of all, I would like to ask everyone who has a partner, how many times do you usually have sex per week? Generally speaking, once a week is the most common frequency of sex for married couples. A paper published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior studied the sexual behavior of more than 26 Sara people and put the number of times these married people had sex each year together and came up with an average 51 times a year, which means almost once a week. Of course, if we analyze it more carefully, we'll find that people in their 20s say they have sex about 80 times a year, while people in their 60s will drop to about 20 times. It has to be said that excluding various factors, people are old and lack physical strength, and that is really a wishful thinking but a lack of strength. However, this conclusion can only provide a very vague reference, because for every couple, there are too many factors that affect the frequency of sex life. Even some of the couples participating in this study said that once a week is too much, while other couples think that once a week is far from enough. Therefore, sex therapists have also given their own insights, believing that there is no fixed number in the world to represent correct sex, and this number is likely to change as the relationship between the two parties develops. For example, when you are under negative emotions or life pressure, feel irritable, depressed, or anxious, it may affect your desire for sex life and intimacy with each other, and then affect the number of sex life and satisfaction. For example, the relationship between the two has entered a very stable state. The number of times is relatively small, but the overall satisfaction of sex life is still very high. After all, the sexual desire during the passionate love period and the sexual desire when entering the old couple state are definitely different, and they cannot be compared together. Therefore, everyone should remember to communicate and discuss the sexual life status of both parties frequently to avoid misunderstandings and dissatisfaction between each other, which will affect the quality of the relationship. Of course, there is also an optimal cost effectiveness for the frequency of sex. When we are in love, we are unscrupulous and do whatever we want. But when the relationship enters a stable stage, we also have more common life problems to face. At this time, what kind of sexual frequency should be maintained to best guarantee the quality of the relationship between the two people? From the perspective of promoting relationship happiness, sex once a week is also the most cost-effective. A study involving 30 Zara people found that when your sex frequency is less than once a week, timely sex can significantly improve your partner's happiness. When you already have sex more than once a week, sex is still fun, but it no longer has a significant impact on happiness. In other words, if you still want to maintain the happiness of your relationship in a busy and stressful life, try to do it once a week. The cost effectiveness is the highest. So, How do you judge whether you are doing it too much? Researchers in the field of sex believe that the healthiest upper limit of sex is to reach 6 orgasms in a week. This is based on some conclusions made to judge whether a person's sexual desire is too hyperactive. That is to say, if you have 6 orgasms after you want it in a week, this is the highest value of normal sexual desire, more than 6 times. Not only will the sexual experience be poor, but there may also be a risk of hypersexuality. 6 times. We can also start from the most honest body and observe how our body feels after frequent sex. If your body shows the following signs after sex, you need to pay attention: vaginal dryness, inability to secrete lubricating fluids, friction and pain, external skin, vulva and labia congestion, swelling and pain. Penis may be sore, swollen and cracked. There will be soreness, burning or dull pain when having sex again. Often feel exhausted, backache, have symptoms of dehydration and feel cold. In addition, too frequent sex will increase friction and stimulation of the private parts and reduce the resistance of local tissues. Therefore, bacteria will be more likely to invade the urethra and bladder, causing urinary tract infection. At this time, girls will feel that they can't hold their urine. Urination stings, and even severe abdominal pain, while boys may also have symptoms of difficulty urinating. So if your body tells you that it can't work, then you listen to your body. And remember to clean up and urinate afterwards to avoid inflammation such as urinary tract infection. Well, the average number of married couples having sex is once a week, but it fluctuates according to the relationship and personal status while ensuring physical health, which is normal. Of course, there are also relevant researchers who believe that 6 orgasms a week is the upper limit of sexual frequency. That's all for today's sharing. Go to bed early. Good night.